This is for all my coaches out there. I know you've been wondering, what type of content do I post? What type of content actually converts? What type of content is going to grab my audience's attention and help me become more unforgettable? Well, you are in luck because that is the content that we are chatting about today. And I know that these 6 content types are going to serve and support you so well. So there are 6 types. You can use them in any order you want. It doesn't matter. I do have some frequency that I like to see people share these types of things, but I do believe the more that you can add these into your content strategy, what you're currently doing, it is going to serve and support you. And you may be doing some of these already lightly, but we're going to take these a little bit deeper because I know how much they are going to help your coaching business. Okay. So the first thing we want to talk about is our story content. Why do we want story content? Story content is because stories connect with humans, right? We're attracted to stories as humans. And so there are many different stories that we have in our coaching business and our life. We have an origin story of why we got into what we're doing, like how we got here. We've got before and after. So we have our own like different transformations. I know how I have many. Pretty much everything that I hated doing and I was bad at, I got better at by putting in the reps. And then I was able to teach my own strategy to help others be able to do the same thing. So that's many, many before and afters, that transformation. And then also about the moments that you had that you were on the verge of quitting, you were on the verge of giving up, you were on the verge of being done or burning it all down or whatever you want to say, right? We all have those stories, especially as business owners and many more areas of our life. So understanding those stories and pulling them out, really what we want is your audience, specifically your raving fans, should know why you do what you do. They should know the story of what got you where you are, and they should never get tired of hearing it because we tell it in a different interesting way every single time, right? I can tell my story funny. I can make light fun of, poke fun of myself. I can tell my story very emotional and talk about the fears and the pain and the regrets and so many different things, right? But people are going to invest in your story. They're going to invest in your transformation just as much as they're invested in your training, right? And so we know that people remember stories. So a great way to become unforgettable is to tell your story. They can see themselves in your story and your story hooks them in. That's the memorability factor right there. Okay. The second thing we want to talk about in our content that is really going to help our audience convert is transformation or results-based content. Now, this is for our actual clients, people that we have gotten results for. This is going to build trust. It's going to show people that we've helped other people besides ourselves, right? There are people that come from all different experiences, walks of life, and we have been able to help a variety of people. And so this builds deeper trust and safety with the people in our audience or to our raving fans, right? So this is an opportunity for you to share screenshots, testimonials, client before and afters. You can also tell your audience like what changed for them, like where were they and where did they go. Another way to do this is I had a client who was booked out through the entire year. So one of the things I did was these are the 5 things I told my client who was booked out for the rest of the year. Like these are the 5 exact things that I told her. Right. So I'm giving an opportunity to talk about a client result, and I'm also sharing the value of what I told her to do. And so this is a great way to do a both and in those types of posts. But that social proof, that opportunity to talk about your client's transformations again is going to pull people in and they're going to want to hear so much more of that. Okay. This is such a great opportunity to feature past clients. Another thing you can do is if you don't have testimonials, if you don't have reviews, grab your clients and interview them. Say, we're going to hop on a Zoom and I'm going to interview you. Ask them what changed. What was the reason they finally said yes? Also, this is great market research for your business. Okay. The next thing that we want to do is we want to talk about authority content. So basically, why am I the expert? Why am I the one you should work with? Right. So this is teaching what you know. It's breaking down your unique method, your framework, your process, why you're different from everybody else. There is something that differentiates you from everyone else in your industry. This is where you really become known as the one. What is your one way? What is your one framework? What is your one process? What's the thing that you believe in, right? And so you are going to see this type of information in everything that you talk about, specifically on your authority content. Because when people understand, oh, she has a method. So we talk about the method. We may talk lightly about the method in free content, but we typically are going to sell the method, right? And so the more people hear it, the more familiar they become with it, the more unforgettable it becomes, and they want to know more. You are an authority. You are an expert. Show up accordingly. Show up and talk about your ways, how they're different from everybody else's, and why your way is the way that works. Okay. The fourth type of content is activation content. So I like to say activation content helps our audience to move. Sometimes it helps them unfollow us, move off our pages, which is fine. We are not for everyone, but this is really identity based work. So this is speaking to their next level. For example, you've outgrown blah, 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 whatever it is they've outgrown, right? And so help them see that they're no longer that person and here's where they want to go. It's really helping them step into that other identity or see that other identity is possible. So we want to really understand our audience. We want to understand our ideal person. We want to mirror exactly what they're thinking, even if they haven't said it out loud yet. For example, there's a lot of things as a business coach that people say is the problem. Like, I'm just not visible enough. People don't know who I am. But the deep down desire is, I want to make more money. I'm not getting the sales. I'm not attracting the clients that I want. Right. And so understanding that and how you can talk to those people is huge. So this content is the type of content that's going to whisper and they're going to be like, oh my God, she's in my head. And here's the thing. The coach, the person who understands their person the most is the one they're going to want to work with. They feel like you already know them. You already know where they're at. You know where they want to go, and they feel really called up by you. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay. The fifth type of content we want to talk about is in-demand content. This shows people why you are already the one that people hire. Again, this can be screenshots and DMs, but I want to talk about the in-demand day-to-day. Every day you are in demand, some way, shape, or form. A client asks you this. A client was celebrating this, right? And so this is the day-to-day stuff. For example, I had someone reach out to me who was a past client, worked with me years ago, and she wants to work together again. That is me being in demand. We worked together years ago. She's about to launch something else, and she wants to work together again for a reason. Not because it sucked when she worked with me before, but because we got great results. Right? Another example is someone who has never worked with me before, but knows exactly who I am because I show up on social media so consistently, referred someone to me. Again, a great example of being in demand because people know who I am. And so when somebody says, I'm not visible enough, they're like, oh my gosh, Crissy knows how to do this. I'll connect them with her. It just makes sense because I talk about it all the time. And this is how we are in demand. Another thing you can do for in demand is talk about the renewals that people keep renewing, how long people have been with you, how long you've been in business, right? All of those types of things matter because it shows that you're there for the long haul. You're not just here for a quick buck and a short-term win. You're here for them. You've been in business through all the trials and struggles for X amount of time. And this is an amazing way to share that. I did a workshop last week and one of my clients was talking about her team of travel agents. They're a multi-million a month team. And I'm like, we get to talk about this. Why are you not talking about this? She goes, I never thought about talking about it. I'm like, yes, you run a multi-million-dollar a month team. That speaks to the level of coach and support and leader that you are. So again, we get to talk about these things. We forget to pat ourselves on the back because we think it's bragging. But honestly, nobody else is going to work with us and nobody else is going to brag for us if we don't brag for ourselves. And I don't really call it bragging. I most likely call it, this is the things that I have accomplished and I'm proud of them. And I think this is one of the main reasons that people want to work with you. Okay. So people want to join someone who's already in momentum, not somebody that's stagnant. They want to work with the coach that people want to work with. Another reason that I love this day-to-day in demand is also you can talk about how you're automatically always up, improving yourself, refining what you do. Again, a great strategy. Okay. And then the last type of content that everyone should be talking about in their coaching business is problem awareness content. I love this story because it was so true. I bombed a speech. I was looking for a speaking coach, and I knew someone who was a speaking coach. And it was funny because she said, "You actually don't have a speaking problem. You speak just fine. You have a confidence problem." And I was like, back in 2019, I have a confidence problem? Oh my God. Oh yeah, I do. It did rock my confidence. Is exactly what it did. My speaking was fine. And so a lot of times our person is just not problem aware. I love calling out common mistakes or myths. And the thing is you can't sell them a solution if they don't really know what their problem is. So one of my programs is called Raving Fans. And I love saying how to self identify if you have a selling problem or a raving fans problem, or maybe both. And so they literally just go through the carousel and look and see, is this a selling problem? Is it a ravings fan problem? Do I maybe have both? And it really helps them see. We can use contrast. And this is what you think is the issue, but here's what actually is blocking you. This is great to be like 5 ways to know that you are the leader in your industry. And again, this is almost like reverse engineering, right? Because, oh my gosh, like I don't know any of those things. I'm not the leader in my industry. Or I do know those things. I am the leader in my industry, right? And so it is a great way to help them self identify. Problem awareness content is one of my favorite types of content. Okay, so we're going to use problem awareness content to really build that buying tension and build trust at the same time. And again, helping them self identify. So the thing is, you don't need to post more. You need to post more intentionally as a coach. You need to tell your story. You need to share the results. You need to teach with clarity. You need to speak with power. And never forget that content isn't just how people find you. Yes, they do find you that way, but it's also how they decide to choose you. That is their decision-making process. Almost always through your content, your activation events, your masterclasses, challenges, and things like that. But you showing up gives them the indication, yes, this is a person that I definitely want to work with.